These four men had compassion toward the man. Everybody say compassion. So if you want to establish positive relationships, refocus on the relationships you have and establish relationships of people who are compassionate toward you. But then not only did they establish a relationship, or do you have to establish a relationship with people having compassion toward you, you've got to establish a relationship with people who have courage for you. Courage for you. Look at verse number 4. It says in the book of Mark, and when they could not come near Jesus because of the crowd, they, watch this, uncovered the roof where he was. So when they broke through, they let down the bed on which the paralyzed man was lying. Oh my God. Look at their courage. Look at their courage. Now, watch this. When they get to where Jesus is, when they get to church, if you will, when they get there, it's so crowded, it's so congested that they couldn't get the man to Jesus. Now, there are all kinds of things, and this is another message, but there are all kinds of blockage that's keeping a lot of people from getting to Jesus, even at the church house. Huh? There are people who can get to the house, but they can't get to Jesus for somebody who meets them before they get in the house. So this is a mean usher. I mean, listen, if your feet hurt, you can't usher. You need to stay home. Huh? If you didn't get up on the right side of the bed this morning, you don't need to be ushering. You need to stay home. You don't know what people are going through. You don't know what people have confronted on their way to church, and you don't know what it took for them to get there. Some of them had to go through almost getting a beating from a wayward husband before they could get out of the house to get to church. Some people had to go through fighting through being high on drugs to press their way, and then they come up against you standing there with a fan in your hand, don't want to give one with a frown on your face. No, you've got to listen. You can block people from Jesus in the smallest of ways. Somebody in the parking lot can say something to you that they shouldn't say. Somebody in the bathroom can say something to you that they shouldn't say. You got to watch how you go into church and watch the people that are there, because they can block you from getting to Jesus. But look at these men's courage. These men had enough courage that they didn't argue with the people that were blocking the door. They didn't argue with the usher. They didn't argue with the choir. They didn't argue with the people in the parking lot. They didn't argue with the bathroom attendants. They found another way. They had the courage. Watch this. This is what they did. They went up on the rooftop and they tore the roof off to lower the man down to Jesus. Well, preacher, what does it have to do with courage? Well, I'm glad you asked. This had to do with courage because when the men climbed up on the roof, they didn't even know whose roof it was. Huh? They didn't know whether or not the man had insurance. They didn't know whether or not the man would be angry. They didn't get permission from the man. They just simply went up on the roof and tore the roof off. They had enough courage to know that, listen, we've come this far and we're going to do everything we can. Now, why did they tear up the roof? They tore up the roof because it was between them and where they were trying to get the man to, which was Jesus. Oh, glory to God. I said something then, that you've got to have people in your life in relationship with them that has enough courage to do whatever it takes to get you to where Jesus is. If that booger trying to keep you from Jesus, you need to drop him like a hot potato. If that booger's trying to keep you from Jesus, that's not your friend, that's your enemy. These men had the courage to do whatever it took to get the man to Jesus. Have I got a witness here? Oh yes, you got to do what you can. You got to do what you can. Tell your neighbor, do what you can to get them to Jesus. Oh yes, get them to Jesus. Get them to Jesus at all costs, no matter what it takes. If you got to buy them a bus pass, get them to Jesus. If you got to give them some clothes, get them to Jesus. If you got to get them some food, have enough courage to go buy it yourself without anybody looking, without anybody being around, and get them in the presence of Jesus. Oh, glory to God. Tell your neighbor, get them them to Jesus. Get them to Jesus. Get them to Jesus. Get them in to his presence. Oh, my God, my God. I'm glad. I said I'm so glad that one Thursday before the first Sunday in August, somebody had enough concern. Somebody had enough compassion to get me to where Jesus was. We had old people